Up, or else planes, trains, and our what this video is titled about World War III, starting with Joe Biden. We'll get to that.
But unfortunately,
I'll let him explain it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
I
everyone.
had some good news for you all today, but unfortunately, things are looking kind of grim right now, if you will, because
Agreed.
Today NATO is scheduled to have an emergency meeting about the war in Ukraine.
Oh, great.
And about how they're going to handle the situation with Russia moving forward. And let me let you in on a little secret. I know a little bit of what they're going to discuss because NATO kind of, I guess you can say, let the cat out of the bag yesterday. But they're going to be discussing what would probably lead up to the end of the world.
For real?
They're going to be discussing preemptive strikes against Russia.
Oh no, that's bad.
Now,
they're trying to start World War III.
And I'm not sure how many of you all are aware of this, and some of you all are more knowledgeable about this than I am. But NATO is supposed to be a defense alliance.
Yeah.
Right now, we are watching a major shift when we hear talks of preemptive strikes.
Seriously.
NATO is the defense alliance that basically says, hey, if you attack this country, you attack all of us, we're going to come to the defense, right?
Fuck
They're
NATO.
not supposed to be an offensive alliance that goes out here and tries to conquer the world and attack countries and do stuff like that. Obviously, we know what they actually do. But that's going to be one of the topics of discussions in this emergency meeting. And if you know the realities of what that would cause, what that would bring about to the world, then yeah, you should probably be scared right now.
For real, if you know anything about what's going on right now, you should be scared.
The best case scenario is that nukes don't come into play, but they will. But let's say best case scenario, if we lived in imagination land, then this would be a conventional ground war. No nukes would get involved, and still the majority of Earth would be wiped out. You can look around you right now. Some of the people around you right now will not make it through this conflict. You can think of all the people you have in your life. A lot of them will not make it through this conflict. The reality is that you or me, we probably won't make it through this conflict.
Yeah, if it escalates, they'll end up nuking us.
On a conventional level, that's a
shit. If I find out nukes are headed towards Chicago, I'm headed fucking into the subway systems under the L. That would be the safest place.
Now, speaking of that, the bombs we have these days will make the bombs we dropped on Japan look like child's play.
For real.
Okay? So, the best case scenario...
There goes a land, just a big 47 landing, right here.
Will be flying quickly if this thing escalates too much further. But even if it didn't, then a large portion of
right there landing.
The world will be wiped out by this conflict.
Seriously, it's not worth it.
Upon millions, hundreds of millions of people. But what is more likely is that it would evolve into nuclear Armageddon.
Yeah.
And once the first nuke goes off, another nuke goes off, and then next thing you know, the nukes are just flying everywhere, and then the Earth is uninhabitable.
Except for the people, well, the Earth is still uninhabitable, except people that have their own bunkers.
What they're going to be talking about. So I want to dive into this information really quickly. NATO is discussing the possibility of preemptive strikes against Russia.
Why? No.
NATO is discussing
Joe Biden's a bitch, that's why.
Preemptive precision strikes on the territory of Russia in the event of an armed conflict with the alliance countries. This was stated at a conference in Brussels by the head of the military committee of NATO. He called
Who's that, the shithead leader of NATO?
NATO has changed its attitude to the
What's up, President Trump? How you
organization
doing?
as a defensive alliance, as well as the perception that it is necessary to sit and wait for us to be attacked, and then, and only then, react. You see, that's what I was just talking about. You see, this is not what NATO is supposed to be about. But
No,
now
it's not.
They're trying to redefine what NATO is simply because they're bloodthirsty. And it honestly
And they don't want
looks
Trump
like
getting
NATO
it.
is like desperate to get World War III right now.
For
It's
real.
crazy.
It
If
is.
you know anything about the conflict,
On my
that's
mama,
going
it
on,
is.
you know that the last week has been absolutely insane, and the decisions that are being made don't make any sense.
No, they
unless
don't.
You want the outcome to be a major global conflict that
Right.
many of us won't survive.
For real,
But it
he's
looks
right.
like that's what these people want. And I mean, Russia's not bluffing, and I think NATO knows that Russia isn't bluffing anymore. So anything that you could possibly imagine is on the table right now. And now we have NATO trying to redefine what they are. They're saying, hey, we shouldn't have. And in my honest opinion, in my humble opinion, when I look at what's going on in Ukraine, and this is a non-biased opinion, it doesn't look to me like Putin is trying to take over all of Ukraine and then take over Poland and then take over the
He's not. He just wants a small part of Ukraine. We should give it to
doesn't
him.
look like that to me. And at first I thought that would be the case. But
it's not.
I don't see the actions that I've seen from the
He just,
Russian
Putin just wants to get rid of all the
military,
pedophiles
it
in
doesn't
Ukraine.
show me that Putin has those aspirations.
Which I kind of agree with.
But
At this point,
this
I'm on
is a
Russia's
situation
side.
where you can, you know, you don't have room for mistakes. Let's put it like that. So you have to move very carefully in a situation like this.
For real.
But NATO is acting like a bull in a china shop right now.
Seriously.
Well, let's go ahead and go further. The head of the NATO military committee stated, it is more competent not to lose, to attack us, and we.
The fuck is... Who? Oh, that must be NATO guy.
So this is just.
It's just getting worse
It's
and worse.
absolutely reckless behavior.
Yes, it is.
And it honestly feels like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not dumb. It feels like our lives are not being taken into consideration at all.
Yeah, no, it
My
doesn't.
life, your life,
None of our
it doesn't matter
lives.
who you voted for, it doesn't matter what country you live
If
in.
you're a Democrat or Republican, they don't care. They don't care about our lives. Trump does.
It seems like the people who live in these countries, their lives aren't being taken into consideration.
For real. But ours are.
And, you know, what's going on in Ukraine, we're all going to have a different opinion about it.
Whether you voted for Biden,
And a lot
Camilla,
of
or
people's
Trump,
opinions on Ukraine,
or Robert Kennedy,
they're
the people in
formed
power
because
right now
they're
don't care about
propagating
any of
the
our
word
lives in this
being
country.
here in America.
And they showed that by with the open
We're not
border
getting
shit.
the whole truth. We're not even getting a small portion of the truth about what's really going on over there.
That's right.
And even about how all of this started. Most people are being fed a stream of lies.
It's so annoying how it keeps falling. Sorry.
And it's causing some people to be in support of something when I don't think they understand the seriousness of it.
I'm in support of Russia, not Ukraine, because I do understand the seriousness. By the way, by Putin, I really hugely appreciate. Hey, Putin, if you ever watch my YouTube channel, I hugely appreciate you showing so much restraint and not just straight up nuking. Well, I don't care if you nuke Ukraine, but just straight up not nuking us in America here. Thank you for showing some restraint and trying to wait, even though Biden's bitch ass is trying to escalate
They
it.
say that could lead to the end of the world. That's not over-exaggeration for shock and awe. That's not me over-exaggerating because I'm here on YouTube. I'm not one of those guys that exaggerates my emotions and reactions. No. Just being real with you about the possible outcomes and probably the most likely outcome of where this conflict will go if it gets any worse from here.
Seriously.
But, you know, it looks like it's going to get worse from here because this emergency meeting is about what the next steps will be.
And escalating the war.
That Germany is laying out all of these plans, 8,000 100 troops, and you know, people are building the bunkers. They're literally already starting.
I need to build a bomb shelter.
Convert subways into bomb shelters. It's getting crazy around the world, folks. So we're just gonna have to watch how this plays out.
That's his channel. But donate to mine, not him. Mine is money sign Samantha SAMANTHA loves LOVES Johnny JOHNNY. That's the money sign at the beginning. That's my Cash App. Oh, here, wait. Let me show you what I'm talking about with the war. Better yet, perfect. Hold on. Give me a second. Shit, folks, like fucking shit. Hang on. Should have got the 4G. Running on that 3G Wi-Fi. Well, this is a good video. Go check this out. Well, it's a little side note. This is a great video. I got 3 more parts that are going to get released on this. I forgot I even aired this today. But I got 2 more parts that are airing on it.
Definitely.
This is part 1.
Oh wow, yeah, I see it right there. That's cool.
Oh, this is airing right
That's cool.
now.
Look at this thing.
That's weed.
Is it?
It's a weed bulb.
Does it look like a weed bowl? Comment your
Is it
opinion.
green? No, it's a water fountain. It's green with a dragon.
Look at the.
It's a dragon. It's got
like a
hands.
bong top.
Oh, it does have a long time. Yeah.
Look at it.
Oh look, this is the what's that dog called? The
Anyone
dog
know the name of that dog?
What's that name?
What's his
Somebody
name?
comment.
Comment.
Even though it's ain't live.
Zero.
I don't know. I can't say whether you're.
I think my lady
Oh,
said
that's not the name of
Zero.
that Zero, the little doggy. That's like the dog's pet. You remember? I've seen that. I forgot what it's from.
Is that from Nightmare Before Christmas? The
No, it's
little
not
dog?
Look at the eyes.
Oh,
Someone
wow.
leave a comment.
Well, and the guy. Look at the eyes.
They're all really good. Oh look, there's a candy cane here.
I would love for someone to be
Man, I see this fucking electric BMW every single fucking day. I'm sure it's the same one. Also, I see BK it starts with it.
That'd be cool.
Yep, here's when the traffic jam starts.
Skyline's up there.
Oh, at the top, yeah.
They got the city skyline. This is by, this, if you want to go see it for yourself, this work of art
That's
of the
cheeky,
Nightmare
really
Before
nice.
Christmas is over by, right by Lazo's. It's west of Lazo's underneath the L. You can hear the trains running above. That's amazing artwork, whoever drew that. It says every mural's got the person's name at the bottom. We realized that on the last video.
Oh look, there's the ghost.
Watch it, it's just here, but here, let me go to what I'm trying to show you about.
You're right. Is it?
What did I just do?
You're right.
Oh, this is the live we're on. No, wrong video.
What did I just do?
Oh, this is the live we're on. No,
It's 12:27 p.m. It's 12:27 p.m.
That means this is all the way north.
Look at those little people they have right here too.
Where?
The little white people. Look where my hand's pointing right here.
Oh yeah.
They redid this, didn't they?
Yeah, it used to be something else.
They periodic
It was like
this
a
is a
different
different
holiday.
building though. I was thinking that this was another building,
Yeah,
but
so
it's
that's where the
not.
skyline starts. Right. Hold on.
Oh, that's.
Right there's the John Hancock.
Put their name on
There's Trump Tower right there, babe. That's Trump Tower. There's the Sears Tower, maybe this one. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you honestly.
I don't think so. Some they look different. Some of them. They look like different painters. Like that one right there looks really nice. Like
Yeah, that one came out really
Hers is
amazing.
like this lady doesn't look as nice, you know.
Right, like she's more.
Like her eyes don't look as realistic.
Oh, this one? That lady, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, look up there. There's more of the skyline, too.
It was dressed along. Oh, I'll have to take your sin out.
These three guys in there. Oh wow, there's Santa. Yeah, you're right.
You can watch the video for yourself in my. This is in the regular video uploads. It just aired right now. It's the premiere. You can watch it with me, and then I'll explain to you what I'm talking about in the Constitution when this video ends. Come on, man. Let me fucking type here.
Okay,
It's right next to the Santa.
This one it took a long time to paint. Where it's, oh, right there, yeah. Skyline somewhere. I know. Oh wow. Oh yeah, that is. Which one? The last
What the
one?
fuck?
Yo, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. This is end of part 1. We're gonna go to part 2.
Part 2 of that'll air tomorrow. Hang on, I'm trying to fucking save this in the category of art. Create. There we go. Alright, now here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Come on. Hold on, I'm trying to show y'all. What? Why is this thing tweaking? Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties. What happens if World War starts before the presidential transition? No, that's not what I fucking said. Cars start before the presidential? What the fuck? Laggy ass shit. Come on, I'm trying to show y'all something.
Didn't hear that. Tap microphone. Didn't hear that.
No shit, bitch. What happens if a world war starts before a president is about to be sworn into office? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay, come on, I'm trying to show you about what I'm talking about. Hold on. If a world war starts right before a presidential transition, what happens with the current president? That's not... According to the Constitution, what happens if a world war starts during a presidential transition of presidents? Oh, here's some, that's not what I'm looking about, is inflation. If a world war starts before a presidential transition, what happens to the current sitting president? I'm about to just go on the internet and look it up. I don't see it on YouTube.
It's 12:34 p.m.
No shit, bitch. Let's try asking it a different way. According to the Constitution, if a different president is about to take power and a world war starts prior, what happens with current sitting president? Does he stay president? I gotta ask that a little different, I think. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Ah, presidential war powers. Maybe this will tell about it. Let's see. Like, subscribe, share, but make sure you hit that thumbs up. Just alone, even if you don't share the video, hitting thumbs up helps a lot. There's been a lot of yeah, a lot of debate. Take a Tylenol, why do you still feel
The problem is, it doesn't say very much.
Man, that's fucking annoying how it keeps falling. It's so fucking annoying. Stay. God damn it! Fuck! Stay! Why isn't this shit loading? What, I'm not right in the guy's ass? Fuck you. Fuck you honking at, jag-off, fucking jag-off ass taxi cab driver. Come on, the video I'm trying to show you won't fucking load? What the fuck? It's got this guy's face frozen, looking like a dork. Try reloading it.
Been a lot of debate across the country on whether this move was actually legal or not.
So maybe we just take a step back and focus on what the law actually says, Rob? Yeah, and Daniel, the problem is it doesn't say very much, and that says a lot at the same time. We're going to start with Constitution 101. So Congress is up for the bulk of the specific powers. Congress has the power to declare war and raise and support our political military. They also decide what we spend our money on, so they fund our military and any wars we find ourselves in. Article 2 of the Constitution tells us what powers ultimately and makes decisions after we go to war. Congress hasn't historically been too keen on using its constitutional power to declare war. The last time it did was in 1942 against Romania in World War II. As you know, we've had plenty of military conflicts since then. Presidents of both parties have ultimately just decided to go it alone many times, and Congress usually doesn't give them much legal pushback. After all, they could cut the funding the wars we're involved in, and they don't ever do that. In 1973, though, the Congress did take one major step. The goal was to make sure Congress and the President both had a say when deciding to put our military in harm's way. The resolution requires the President to consult with Congress, and he can't put our military in combat without authorization from Congress unless, and here's the important part, there's an attack or the imminent threat of attack against us. That's why you
fucking taxi cab driver really pissing me off. He's about to make me go extra slow.
Threat to America. President Trump did not get congressional authorization first. What does imminent threat mean? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Literally, it means that an attack is about to happen. But guys, some will argue that if someone is planning in general to harm Americans, that could
This fucking taxi cab driver jag off in his fucking stupid cab.
And it seems it's early, but it seems that this is much different than impeachment when it was very partisan.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it because
They need to impeach Biden's bitch ass.
an ally of the president. He's now going to say, he's saying he's going to vote with Democrats to limit war powers. But he's done this with presidents of both parties, so he's a firm believer that Congress should have the lion's share of war powers.
And it seems like most presidents have a push and pull with Congress at some point over the military, so.
All presidents have said that they don't recognize the resolution as constitutional, but they all, for the most part, abide by it.
Will Trump become president if Joe Biden starts World War III? Maybe we can find something more interesting on this about what I'm trying to explain. It says it in the Constitution, but oh yeah, wait, I got the internet on here. If we can't find it, we'll just show you on the internet.
In a recent episode, podcast host Joe Rogan slammed President Joe Biden and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for allegedly trying to start World War III. This after Washington allowed Kyiv to use American-made long-range missiles to strike deep inside Russian territory.
Right now, they are launching missiles into Russia. How are you allowed to do that when you're on the way out? The people don't want you to be there anymore. There should be some sort of pause for significant actions that could potentially start World War III.
Much agreed.
Maybe that would be a good thing that we would like to avoid from a dying former president.
The 57-year-old UFC commentator criticized President Zelensky for saying that Vladimir Putin is terrified because Kyiv is strengthening its capabilities. The Ukrainian president made these comments in response to Russia's airstrikes on Dnipro that included a new intermediate-range ballistic missile.
Today, our crazy neighbor once again showed what he really is and how he despises dignity, freedom, and human life in general, and how afraid he is. He is so afraid that he uses new missiles, and he searches the world for other places to find weapons.
Fuck you, Zelensky. You're a piece of shit, just like Joe Biden.
It is obvious that Putin is using Ukraine as a testing ground. It is obvious that Putin is afraid when there is simply a normal life next to him.
Putin ain't afraid of your bitch ass.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan also called Russia's invasion of Ukraine an insane proxy war and urged Putin and Zelensky to come to the negotiating table.
It's not like nobody knows the U.S. is funding Ukraine. It's a proxy war.
Instead of funding U.S. citizens.
Come to the negotiation table, sit down, work this out, and stop killing everybody.
Nah, Joe Biden wants to escalate that shit to hand Trump a ticking time bomb.
Has been fighting Russian forces for more than 1,000 days, pushed the U.S. to allow the use of Army tactical missile systems.
An outgoing president should not be allowed to do that. That should be an impeachable offense, and he should be fucking impeached for, what is it called?
Joe Rogan hoped that President-elect Donald Trump
Biden should be impeached right now for war crimes.
Into the war, something the Republican repeatedly pledged throughout his campaign. Donald Trump reportedly plans to end the Ukraine crisis by allowing Russia to keep the territory that it has invaded, a condition that President Zelensky rejects.
Hit thumbs up if you agree.
And incompetence, Joe Biden has brought us to the brink of World War III. We're at the brink of World War III, just in case anybody doesn't know it. As president, I will bring back peace through strength.
Meanwhile,
Peace
Putin
through
says
strength.
he
I
is
agree,
in fact
Mr.
ready
Trump.
to sit down with Donald Trump for a dialogue to end the war. Latest reports say Moscow currently controls nearly 1/5 of Ukraine's territory, giving Putin tremendous leverage. And with the re-election of Donald Trump,
give Ukraine to fucking Russia, or we should take it.
Chances are that Ukraine is staring at a costly trade-off in exchange.
If anything, I think America should take Ukraine, considering all the money we gave
From
them.
impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players.
And he's right.
I think the crooked Joe Biden is not only dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad. A stark, raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI weaponization policies. He is a mental catastrophe that is leading our country to hell. We'll end up in World War III because of this man, and for no reason whatsoever. Thank you.
He's right.
Just announced, Walmart, Target, CVS, and Walgreens are now accepting the grocery allowance card.
All American seniors who have every single $1,500 each month. The truth is that it is available for any American who is 64 or older and is on Medicare.
Russia is throwing nuclear threats around again. Russia would strike down on any Western country that sends troops into Ukraine as a NATO operation with nuclear strikes. His threat came in the early days of May 2024, with Medvedev claiming on social media that any response to such an action would come with a strike that is not within Ukraine's borders. He outlined just how damaging this strike would be, claiming that it would be a global catastrophe from which no Western leader could hide. He's not alone in making those threats. Russia's current president, Vladimir Putin, has repeatedly claimed that he'd deploy tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine, but his threats escalated in May due to comments made by various world leaders about the possibility of NATO troops entering Ukraine and how Ukraine uses the weapons that other nations provide. His response was simple: Russia will be ready. Putin issued a statement claiming that troops in Russia's southern military district would run drills practicing the preparation and launch of non-strategic nuclear weapons. To him, that's a viable response to French President Emmanuel Macron's claims that sending NATO troops into Ukraine isn't out of the question, as well as British Foreign Secretary David Cameron's claims that there's nothing stopping Ukraine from using British-made weapons in Russia itself. The threat of nuclear war is higher than it's been for decades, and if Russia were to strike against any member of NATO, that would inevitably lead to the United States entering the fray. Any strike on a NATO ally in its territory is considered a strike on all NATO allies, per Article 5 of the NATO Charter, meaning Putin, following through on his threats, would engulf most of the Northern Hemisphere in nuclear war. All of that may leave you asking a question. How would a nuclear war affect you personally? No matter what, it would always start with one country choosing to launch. If that country is Russia, it would target every NATO member that has nuclear capabilities, with the United States being the chief target, while France and the United Kingdom are also hit. Russia's first launch would likely come from Rabachi, the home of several types of submarine-launched nuclear weapons, including the SSN-6, SSN-8, and SSN-18. Rabachi is a military base located just to the northwest of Canada. Russia's initial strike would likely see it send submarines into the North Pacific Ocean, and potentially the Arctic Ocean, to ensure its first missiles arrive in the United States as quickly as possible. The US would respond almost immediately. It would receive word of the launches almost as soon as they occur, thanks to its Defense Support Program satellites, operated by the US military's Space Force. These satellites are in constant geosynchronous orbits around the world, with the data beamed from them triggering America's response. That response would be twofold. The United States maintains a stockpile of nuclear missiles on what the Union of Concerned Scientists calls hair trigger alert. This means those missiles are in a constant state of readiness, allowing the country's president to issue a command to launch within minutes. So before Russia's first volley of nukes even touches down in the United States, the US will have launched its hair trigger missiles, in addition to preparing as many bases as possible to fire intercontinental ballistic missiles that will take around 30 minutes to arrive in Russia. The second response will be to activate the ground-based mid-course defense, or GMD system. This system is designed to destroy nuclear warheads when they're in their mid-course phase, meaning they'll be outside of the Earth's atmosphere. The system is perfectly placed to attempt to intercept the initial Russian launch. 40 ground-based interceptors
shouldn't even be talking about this with an outgoing Joe Biden
near where Russia would likely launch its initial volley. But there's a problem. The GMD system is far from 100% effective. In scripted tests, it's only reached an approximate 50% success rate, meaning at least half of Russia's initial volley of nuclear warheads will break through, and there will be more coming. Beyond the missiles launched from Rabachi, Russia will have shot hundreds of intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, that will take about 30 minutes to reach the American mainland. The US will have responded in kind, with its missiles also en route to Russia. As for you might not even know any of this is happening until you start seeing the telltale streaks of nuclear missiles bearing down on the United States.
I know it's about to happen because I watched
from
this
Rabachi
shit.
and its submarines, the first of the warheads will strike. However, the first missiles to arrive won't be traditional nuclear bombs. They'll be electromagnetic, or EMP, pulse weapons. The EMP warheads detonate at altitudes above major cities, with each detonation releasing gamma rays that ionize the molecules in the air. Positive ions and Compton electrons are produced, leading to a pulse of energy that also creates an exceptionally powerful electromagnetic field. All systems powered by electricity are at risk of shutting down immediately as a result of the pulse. Power grids, handheld devices, and even vehicles simply stop working. And worst of all, it wouldn't take many bombs to cause complete havoc in the United States. According to the Washington State Department of Health, U.S. atmospheric tests in 1962 revealed just how far-reaching an EMP bomb's effects can be. The U.S. detonated a 1.4 megaton nuclear weapon 250 miles above Johnson Island, with the EMP generated by that blast being observed as far away as Hawaii, which was 800 miles from the blast. Fuses and streetlights failed, with telephone services also being disrupted. In a Russian nuclear attack, it would send several of these types of nuclear weapons, all detonating at high altitudes to disrupt American electrical devices. Depending on where you are relative to the detonations, you'll likely see them in the skies. The most obvious sign that something is wrong will be that your electronics stop working. Your smartphone short circuits, the power goes down, traffic lights stop working, and many vehicles, particularly those that rely on electrical systems to run, will start crashing. Worst of all, this will be a countrywide effect. Even if your smartphone manages to survive the initial blasts, the odds are that you won't be able to communicate with your loved ones. That's the point. The EMP weapons shut down communication and hamper American military operations. It may even be able to prevent the launch of some nuclear weapons, though the hair-trigger warheads the US has on standby will have already started their journeys to Russia by the time the EMP nukes detonate. Thankfully, the EMP pulses won't kill you, at least not directly. Initial deaths will be indirect, stemming from incidents related to the shutdown of electronic equipment. Failing machinery in hospitals may kill some patients, with many dying as a result of car crashes when their vehicles fail. Railway networks and industrial facilities will also immediately shut down,
in the middle of driving your car and it'll just turn off.
Electricity grids and computer networks. Practically everything that makes modern living possible would disappear in an instant. On the ground, you, along with millions of other Americans, will panic. But after those initial detonations, you'll have a few minutes of respite. The world around you may be eerily silent or filled with the panicked screams of hundreds of people, depending on where you are. But the most prominent feeling in your gut will be one of confusion. What happened and why? You'll get your answers about
Joe Biden is why
after the
that
EMP nukes
happened.
have detonated. That's when the first of Russia's ICBMs
Let's read these
land.
comments. This video's about that, and I try to read
military
everybody's.
command and control centers, along with every major city in the United States. Those cities are targeted for two reasons. They likely also contain military bases, or at least military personnel. And
B-R-Y-C-E, Bryce. Oh my God!
Those ICBMs will vary from the previously mentioned
5 seconds into your stream, and you don't even care how many innocent people die in Ukraine, and you think you're righteous somehow. Get a grip. Nah, you're wrong.
Can also be fired as mobile
Brian Z, I do care about American lives not getting killed. What the hell are your comment is irrelevant.
Control Association, or ACA,
E9 Project said, hilarious, you're gonna blame Trump, then the second,
nuclear weapons.
you're gonna blame Trump when the economy crashes under his watch. I'm not gonna blame Trump, I'm gonna blame Joe Biden. What the hell are you talking about, E9 Project? That's what everybody else is gonna do. I'm not gonna blame Trump, I'm gonna blame Joe Biden because I know what he's doing right now. What the fuck up?
And Russia. Worse yet for France and Britain, the 290 and 225 nukes they have.
Stan Z, the current sitting president stays in office like Franklin Delaware Roosevelt. You are 100% right, Stan Will. But here's the thing, if he does start World War III, who said that? Stan Will, if he does start it, what do you call it? Joe Biden will probably mysteriously die and Camilla will take power because she would then become the president. They're going to do anything they can to try to stop Trump from becoming president since he already won the election.
Overwhelmed by the initial volley of EMP pulse weapons.
Adam Kenzel Schaefer, what's up, bro? What's up, Adam? How you doing? I just read the comments now. We should be funding the people that live here. I agree with you, Adam, 1000%. Dr. OBGYN, I agree. Thank you, OGBYN. I agree too.
Safe either. Moderate skin burns are still possible, as is death or injury caused by the debris thrown up in the blast. If you're unfortunate to be looking at
Adam,
as it happened, and you aren't killed by the blast
Adam
itself,
Cazell, Trump
your
gonna
residence
fix
may
this
be
country.
saved.
Yes, he is,
At the very
but he's
least,
gonna
your
be handed a
experience
ticking
damage
time
to lives
bomb.
and possible
But
temporary
Trump will
blindness.
fix it.
Then come the shockwaves.
I'm around.
Nuclear
What's up?
weapons generate powerful shockwaves,
Maybe I'm on
leading
the.
to
I was
instant
on the
jumps in
90,
pressure.
not no more.
When
Why?
combined
Where are
with the
you at,
dynamic pressure
Adam?
the blast itself
Do I even know
causes,
you? Who
the
are you?
shockwave can reverberate
I know
for
what you did
miles,
last summer.
damaging buildings that are caught in their path.
Mulligan
Those shockwaves
Wallen.
also have the
I
potential
know what
to
you
kill
did last
if you're
summer.
unlucky enough to be on the ground, tearing through your body and throwing you up into the air. Is there anything you can do to protect yourself at this point? According to the Center for Disease Control,
Yeah, go under the
Prevention,
L,
or
under the
CDC,
blue line, as
those
deep as you
unfortunate
can.
not to be in a shelter or basement should immediately turn away from the blast, close their eyes and drop to the floor. Lie face down with your hands under your body and simply wait. You'll likely feel 2 shockwaves pass over you, as well as intense heat. The latter could kill you no matter what you do, though those far enough away from the blast zone should be able to withstand the heat and hopefully not be crushed by debris.
Shut the fuck up!
It's a minuscule
Fucking
defense
alert.
against what you face, but it's the only thing you can do. And the danger isn't over yet, as you face 2 more problems in the immediate aftermath of the blast: radiation poisoning.
Well, like,
and
subscribe, share. We'll pause this. I gotta use my phone. We'll be back. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
Radiation
You gotta
burns
get
will destroy
iodine
the
pills
skin
to
within
fight it.
minutes, with other symptoms sometimes taking days or even weeks to appear. These can range from minor skin reddening to full-blown cancer, all depending on the distance from the blast, the amount of radiation it released, and even the type of radiation. And you're not safe if you're miles away from the initial blast. Radioactive fallout from the blast can travel through the air for many miles, meaning the simple act of breathing puts you at risk. The same goes
You gotta
for
get
eating
iodine
food
pills
or
to get the
drinking
radiation
water.
out of your
Both will be
body.
contaminated due to radioactive fallout, and worst of all, the odds are that there's little you could do about either situation. Thanks to Russia's EMP bombs, combined with the devastation caused by the nuclear blasts, emergency services will be slow to respond.
For real.
And will have their hands full dealing with thousands of people in the crisis. That's assuming the energy services are even available. The strikes could destroy them in an instant, with communication also being made difficult by the EMP blasts that have decimated the equipment these vital personnel use. As for firestorms, these will arise in the immediate aftermath of the blast. They're created whenever a large number of smaller individual fires, such as those a nuclear form a huge fire. Think of them as flaming hurricanes. The many small fires heat the air to such a degree that they create hurricane-strength winds that pull inwards toward the larger fire those many small fires create. Those larger fires only get stronger because of the air being fed towards them by the wind, fanning the flames until a firestorm occurs. According to Atomic Archive, the blasts you'd likely face would create the perfect conditions for firestorms to occur. They'd certainly occur in areas that contain at least 8 pounds of combustible materials, and there's a strong possibility that half of the structures within the blast zone will all be on fire at the same time. The burning area will also easily span at least 5 square miles, and will likely be even larger. The only thing that could prevent the firestorms from forming is if the wind in the area is above 8 miles per hour. These firestorms will be almost as devastating as the blast itself. For context, the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima created a firestorm that destroyed 4.4 square miles of the city. That demonstrates how strong the heat generated by these firestorms is. They engulf large areas of the city.
Alright, well, like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up. Thanks for watching, yo.
Practically everything they touch. Glass will
He's gonna be back soon, Trump 2024. Save America. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you hit thumbs up, yo. Thanks for watching.
Depending on how strong the fire.
We'll finish this video at a later date. Hit thumbs up and share. Oh wait, we got a few more comments.
So if you happen to survive the initial blast and the
Character
shockwaves it
1.
generates, and you're not
I'll
immediately
detail
struck
your
down by the
interior
severe
for
radiation
200.
poisoning and
Okay,
burns,
Rob
you only
Brown.
have one option.
I could detail my own interior,
Run as far
but thank
away from the
you.
blast zone
They
as
just
possible
found
to lower the
Chinese
risk of
farmland
getting
in the
swept up in a
U.S.
firestorm.
to our
Now, let's say
nuclear
you
base.
survive all-
Yes, you are 100% right, Rob Brown. Right now, China has bought farmland completely surrounding multiple nuclear bases. Multiple nuclear bases. Not just one, not just two. Multiple military bases in the U.S. China has brought up the farmland 100%, completely surrounding the nuclear, our military base.
Firestorms that hundreds of nuclear weapons detonating on US soil create would send up huge plumes of smoke into the atmosphere. Adding to that will be all of the ash generated by burning cities. And remember, this smoke and ash isn't just coming from the United States. Russia will be experiencing the same devastation that you see in the US thanks to America's retaliatory strikes. Worse yet, both Britain and France
Ukraine is not worth this.
Thanks to preemptive Russian strikes. After all, Moscow doesn't want those nuclear-capable nations supporting the United States due to Article 5.
Oh, by the way, did you know we also just gave fucking North Korea, Russia just gave North Korea a nuclear warhead, by the way. They gave them one nuclear warhead.
The entire northern
and that's because they gave Russia those 500 troops.
The sun's rays can barely penetrate. The atmospheric temperature drops rapidly, with plants also beginning to struggle and eventually dying out because they can't conduct the photosynthesis process. Earth's northern hemisphere enters nuclear winter. The planet has experienced
that means you gotta go to the southern hemisphere
before, though on a much smaller scale than would be caused by the detonation of hundreds of nuclear weapons throughout the northern hemisphere. Take the eruption of the Indonesian volcano Krakatoa in 1883 as an example. That eruption was so powerful that it sent enough ash into the atmosphere to lower global temperatures by 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit. That may not seem like much, but the sort of atmospheric temperature change can have remarkable effects. Just 68
Lincoln.
years before Krakatoa's eruption, a similar
I'm watching the Bible, S-Snow. That's funny, S-Snow.
The year without summer. In the United States, people reported experiencing temperatures that were between 5 and 10 degrees Fahrenheit lower
And he
than
said this
usual.
happened in like
Some areas even
1890.
reported summer
This is
snow. The lower temperatures had a
and this is just from a major powerful volcano what he's talking about right now. Imagine the nuclear warheads we have today.
impact on agriculture, with crops dying due to frost and hundreds of thousands of people perishing throughout the world. That's nothing compared to what would happen in the aftermath of a nuclear war. In their book, A Path Where No Man Thought, late astronomer Carl Sagan and atmospheric scientist Richard Turco posit that there are 6 possible classes of nuclear winter, with the one you'd face depending on the scale of the nuclear war between Russia and the United States. In the best case scenario, meaning each country only uses
Do you know what's in your cheap protein powder? Well, here to tell us is all natural.
Your cheap protein powder?
All right, let's see.
Attention adults over 64. Your social
I'm not watching any in particular channel. I was just trying to show people what happens if Joe Biden starts World War III before Trump's sworn into office. Joe Biden / Camilla Shithead stays president.
And no long-term consequences for the rest of the world.
Lucas Arts. Yes, I'm glad too. I know, me too. Trump won, thank God. I agree. And these damn evil Democrats tried killing him twice already.
Having a devastating effect on the agricultural centers that are still able to operate.
Thank you, I know I'm right, Mr.
Production
Lincoln.
would practically grind to a halt as crops die, leading to the famine deaths of millions. According to Sagan and Turco, the deaths resulting from this famine would be approximately equal to the number who died in the blasts. Move up to a nominal nuclear winter, which would occur if between 6,000 and 12,000 nuclear weapons are detonated, and the temperature drops would reach 18.3 degrees Fahrenheit. The entire northern hemisphere would be blanked with dark skies.
That means you gotta
as well
get to
as
the
experiencing
equator.
The effects of drought, starvation, and nuclear fallout. Though the smoke clouds would eventually dissipate, the ozone layer would be practically destroyed by the nuclear blasts, resulting in far more solar radiation reaching the Earth's surface.
Well, I didn't even think about that.
Ironically, this would make the northern hemisphere feel hotter than it was before, with the wild variance in temperatures continuing to wreak havoc on agricultural production. The classes keep getting worse, culminating in the 6th class, extreme nuclear winter. This may only occur if the entire world is engulfed in nuclear war, with the result being that most life on the planet, from humans to plants, would die in conditions where the Earth is blanketed in constant darkness. Thankfully, extreme nuclear winter won't be what you face in a nuclear war between Russia and the United States. However, a nominal nuclear winter is entirely possible, and even plausible, due to the sheer numbers of nukes both countries could deploy. What's interesting here is that the nominal nuclear winter caused by the war won't have a huge impact on the southern hemisphere.
The military show, that's what channel this is on
the
YouTube.
US, Russia, Britain and France being above the equator, all will experience nominal nuclear winter.
That means you gotta get to south of the equator, Venezuela, Brazil, Honduras.
But that doesn't mean the southern hemisphere will escape
Chile.
unscathed. Though Sargon and Turco suggest there'll be minimal environmental impact below the equator, the social and economic impacts would be enormous. After all,
that means you got to get to
Hemisphere
south
is
of the
responsible for
equator.
much of the world's food. The US alone produced 3.03 metric tons of food per capita in 2021. All gone thanks to nuclear winter.
Damn.
The same goes for Canada's 2.84 metric tons, France's 2.4 metric tons, and Russia's 2.22
It's a lot less
metric
food for
tons,
people.
and China's 1.92 metric tons per capita. It would all be lost thanks to nuclear winter, because all of those major food-producing countries are in the Northern Hemisphere. The global economy would also collapse due to the havoc wreaked in the Northern Hemisphere. Russia and the United States would be practically destroyed, as would China. Though not the target of the nuclear blasts, it would be devastated by nuclear winter and the fact causes. The losses in those countries would impact the Southern Hemisphere enormously. No more support for Africa via the Belt and Road Initiative. No more relying on the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. In the aftermath of nuclear winter, many of Earth's cultural, scientific, and economic capitals will simply cease to exist.
Yeah.
In short, you would witness the complete breakdown of society if you were fortunate enough to survive.
This is
both
why
the
we
blasts
do not
and
want
the
to
nuclear winter that
escalate
followed.
the Ukrainian war
Fortunate
with
may be a
Russia.
misnomer in this instance. Life would no longer resemble anything that you've ever known, but at least you won't be part of the 5 billion people, roughly 63% of the Earth's population, that die as a result of the widespread famines that result from nuclear war. But you'd still face freezing temperatures. In a 2006 study published by the Journal of
I'm gonna stock
Geophysical
up on some
Research,
cans
a
of
group of
food.
scientists ran a model
We
climate
got
model
about
test
60
based on
days
US
before
and
Trump
Russia
becomes
applying
president.
all
I gotta
reactor
feel
nuclear
Joe
weapons.
Biden's
Average surface cooling would fall in the 44.6 to 46.4 degree Fahrenheit range. It would be even worse in North America. Its surface temperatures could fall by as much as 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So even if you somehow survived the blasts, escaped the firestorms, didn't have radiation poisoning, and somehow found a viable food source, you'd also have to deal with a desperate scramble to find warm shelter in a country where many of the structures have been devastated by nuclear war. All of that leaves us with a final question. Could you survive a full-scale nuclear war between the United States and Russia? The odds aren't in your favor. The initial blasts, coupled with the firestorms they create and the societal collapse that results, would kill many millions. Billions more will die as a result of widespread famine and drought, with cold temperatures claiming millions more who struggle to find shelter and warmth. All told, less than a quarter of the Earth's population is likely to survive, and they would live in a world where the ozone layer has collapsed,
And that's
global
not good.
fish stocks are decimated.
That's even
Agriculture
worse.
on any wide scale would not exist for decades, with the US and Russia being among the worst affected. After all, the Alliance for Science says that food calorie output in the US would drop by 98.9%,
Yeah, we would all
with
starve.
Russia seeing a 99.7%
So you gotta get to
decline.
South America.
China's output would drop by 97.2%, with calorie decline in the UK and France also being almost total. Simply put, if the bombs don't kill you, the nuclear winter and many of its after effects probably will. But this is a worst-case scenario that assumes both the US and Russia
we're headed
essentially
there with
fire
Joe
their
Biden's
full
bitch
arsenals
ass.
of nuclear weapons at each other. Do you think there's a possibility that could ever happen?
I do,
And if
yeah,
it-
especially with what Joe Biden's doing. Comment what you think below. Let's see if anyone else left any new comments before we end this. It's the military channel that was on. Character 1. Russia will do anything to be dominant. Honestly, I want Russia to take Ukraine. I'm sick of this giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. It's fucking sickening. And this is on the military channel. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, yo. Thanks everybody for watching. And we'll go deeper into about how Trump would not become president if Joe Biden starts World War III on our next live. Stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Thanks for watching, yo.